Hi everybody. Just gonna post a video during exam time. Today's the first day of exams. Hopefully you guys are doing pretty well. Today's Thursday. You'll have me on Monday, as you know, right off the bat on Monday morning, and for our exam. And I kind of have talked to you about that during the last class. But I wanted to post a video to talk about where we're going to go next semester, the second half of the year. I thought there was a lot of good things that happened during the first half of the year, but I also know it got a little hectic at the end. We were scrambling around, taking a test, not really learning as much as we should have been. And being the teacher and kind of setting things up, certainly I take some of the issue on that. I think you guys could look at yourselves at different levels and look at yourself to blame a little bit too. Regardless, I want to look at the first semester and talk about ways that we could change things. You on your end, me on my end, maybe a format change if we need to do that. Primarily, I was posting videos on the topic ahead of time. You submit a Google form to answer a question or two. Then when we came into class, we kind of worked on some problems out of the book or a worksheet related to the topic. You work together in a lot of cases, by yourselves in a lot of cases. I saw some good conversations sometimes. Saw a lot of times in class where the conversation, the discussion was unrelated to math, and there were times when people didn't get a lot done in class. And so that part certainly wasn't helpful too. So I've thought of a couple different options, and I'm putting them on the board. We don't have to follow either one, but I want to at least talk about those, and then I want you at the end of your exam on Monday to maybe write some things to me a little bit as to what your ideas might be too. I know I may get a whole bunch of different ideas, and I can't please everybody all the time. I just can't. But I can try some different things with you guys, because the goal is to get a lot of work done. It's going to be a lot tougher in the second half of the year. The topics are really tough. And so I want us to have the best chance for success, for you guys to have the best chance for success. Because I think that when you submit your exam to me on Monday, you may kind of look at it and say, geez, some of these things I don't remember, I didn't do very well on. And on my end, I didn't do very well because I missed some topics. I'm going to have to give you some credit for topics we didn't even cover. So that's on my end of needing to be a little more efficient too. All right? So this is in green, kind of the top format that we had done before. And so I want to at least just talk about it here. Your homework would be to preview class, a video, whether I make it or someone else does. Watch the video and do some practice problems. Submit on a Google form, or maybe even bring those problems in to class. You know, I was not getting 100% of Google forms, and even when people were submitting them, I know that it wasn't the highest quality of what people were putting in. You know, the goal would be to really watch the video and then plow away at some stuff in class. And that's what would happen here in class. Now, what I started to do that I didn't do at the beginning of the semester was do a short whole class review of the video, where I kind of go through a problem or two that was on the video, and maybe I do that. Continue to do that if we continue doing this strategy of things. Or we could just begin the book work and the problems. And I want to be, this is where I need to come in and make some changes too, be a little bit better. I need to maybe go to groups or individuals and maybe question a little bit more there. And I need to do a little bit more on my end during some book work and problem time during class, which I was doing, and I would certainly want to do more for that. That's the reason why we do this, it frees me up to come around and help people out a little bit more. So again, those would be the changes I would make on my end if we do it. I've got some ideas on how I could set up class a little bit differently within there. Another thing I would then add too at the end, and I think this would help all of us too, is at the end, you're gonna submit the work to me, and I'll put some feedback on it. But there's also gonna be there would be an exit ticket each day, where you have to summarize what the topic was for our lesson, and you would then try to bring everything together some way. And I do like a little maybe practice quiz too, maybe give you 3 problems where you submit them to me. And I correct them and give you feedback. And I give you this kind of the next class, I'd give that back to you during the work time. Maybe we set up a little review time from the previous class too. So we can keep going with that. The other option is to kind of a more traditional format where, in class, once we get going, I would review the night before's homework. You will have done work out of the book, work out of worksheets, maybe 10, 15, 20 problems. There is going to need to be more work done, whether that be within the classroom or at home during study halls or something like that. But we would have to review it. I'd go over certain problems. I'd pick a few out for teaching problems, things like that, and review the homework. Then I'd get into a lecture on the topic. I don't know if I could do both of these things before lunch. I could try, but I probably would have to go into after lunch a little bit on the lecture. So for those. And then there'd be some practice time before the end of class. You wouldn't have as much work time in class. You'd get some, and then the homework would be book work or a worksheet too. I would probably still include, and I'm going to include this no matter what, some way, some kind of an exit ticket where you're going to show me that you're able to do some of the things here. Now, either way, here I would post a video, whether that be me, or I could get a good one from online that you could watch. But here too, I would still be posting videos here. And I could do it prior to class, or I could do it after the class, whatever. Maybe I even videotape myself in class doing a lesson, I don't know. I've done that before too, right? But I would still post videos for 2 reasons. One, to go back during the homework time. So if you're at home doing the book work and you don't remember how to do it, you can go and watch a video to help you. The other reason is if you're absent. If you're absent from school one day, you want to make up your work somehow, it's hard for me to recreate the lesson, so I would post videos anyway for each of these, for people that are absent or if you need some reinforcement. So, I'm not sure. This way, probably leads us to, again, a little bit more of a traditional classroom, and maybe that's what we need. It doesn't need to be a bad word, the word traditional, in terms of, how things go. That being said, I know I said here, our previous format, students weren't getting the Google Forms submitted to me and getting them done. I know for a fact here that during this part, I would go around the classroom at the beginning of class, check off who got it done. It becomes sort of a game almost in terms of, and I know, believe me, I'm not dumb. You can copy off of other people, all sorts of ways to game the system for this sort of setup. That being said, stuff needs to get done outside of class. And so that part we can't argue about, that we've got this homework time somewhere, either front loading it or back loading it. And that's what we're going to have to talk about. I'll talk about it during the exam time, and then we can have you write me some ideas on what you think. Good luck on your tests.